So can you tell me please about the organisation that you're involved with?
Right.
Starting with a name.
Okay. The organisation comes under several different parts. We've got Comedius, which is the organisation we're setting up as a whole for the income-based and the business side of the charity we run.
Right.
And we've also got Roundabout Trust UK, which is the charity part of the projects we run. And Roundabout Trust UK is set up under two different areas. One is called NFA Sports and one is NFA Arts. NFA stands for No Fixed Abode.
Right.
Because we are dealing with socially excluded people, majority of that are homeless, ex-offenders, gang cultures. So that's the structure itself. So Roundabout Trust UK has been going for some time now, and it started as a self-help voluntary group from one of our local hostels, and they wanted to set up a football team. It started off as a five-a-side football team, and after 6 weeks of setting up, we came 7th in a national competition. Over the last couple of years, it's now grown to, there's approximately 28 players, so we're virtually at the stage now of getting 2 teams, and this season next season coming, we're actually going into the Christian Football League, and it's now 11-side, so it's grown quite considerably. And because of the success of Roundabouts, Comedius has come about to put a bigger structure into place.
Right.
And on the NFA arts side, it's basically around music, technology, creative industries. So we have just completed a CD of buskers and bands within the Derby area who have had experience of homelessness, and we're actually going towards a national launch of that CD in November this year.
Okay.
So,
and what's the name of the CD?
CD is called the Buskers album. We're finalising it at the moment. We've got all the tracks. We've had a lot of contribution from a lot of people and a lot of organisations around the local and East Midlands area, which has made it possible. But obviously that's going to hopefully generate quite a lot of income, where not only can we support the other projects but also support other local charities as well. So,
can you give me some examples?
Right, we're looking at supporting one of the local charities is a holiday club which is run by Derby Homes to take disadvantaged and poverty-stricken children away for days out and weekends away and stuff like that. So we work very closely with Derby Homes, which is one of the biggest housing organisations in the area, and they've supported us a lot, so we want to give back to the organisations who help us. So that's the main one we're raising, but obviously there's costs to bring in other projects as well. We've got a number of projects which we want to bring into play to improve Derbyshire and the East Midlands, especially in this very difficult economical climate.
Yes, that's true.
So we want to create jobs. We're not here just to throw money at something and go, okay with it. The idea is to get people who don't have the chance training in fields where they can get full-time education, full-time employment, be it through education, be it working alongside them and one-to-one mentoring, but also creating jobs ourselves. The organisation wants to create, put people in place for project manager jobs and stuff like that who've actually experienced the issues with the people we're dealing with.
Right.
So.
Oh, so these jobs would be like caseworkers dealing with
The jobs could run from everything, but obviously every project we've got to put into place, and as Comedius as an overall, we've got several projects in the pipeline, some of them extremely big projects which are going to cost £200,000-300,000 to set up.
Right.
But the people who will be running them projects, the people who will be overseeing them projects, are the people we've brought through and trained and qualified, who have got have been on the streets because of learning difficulties, who've had addiction problems, who've been offenders, who've got mental health issues, who have difficulty obtaining employment due to the normal standards because they aren't able to go through the educational system as it is.
Right. So this is your being an association for ex-homeless people. Is it actually current people that are currently homeless that also come to that you work with?
We work with anybody.
Yes.
To be honest, we're not going to exclude from people, but we do work with a lot of people who are currently in the hostels, and it came out of the night shelter. The original football team came from the night shelter. So, and we deal with a lot of young people coming out of prison and ex-offenders, and the lads who run the football team have been in them situations themselves. One of them just recently come out of prison, and we're training them up to be coaches and managers, and we're running the project. So these people who I think have got this attitude or belief that people who've been on the streets or people who've been in prison aren't used to anybody who hasn't got an ability to do anything or hasn't got the ability to achieve. We want to show that they can, because these are the people who are actually running this project. Comedius is set up and is being overseen by 3 of us. Out of them 3, 2 of us have both been homeless. I lived on the streets for 6 months a few years ago when I was younger, and the operations manager has also lived on the street. So we want to change people's attitudes, not only just as individuals but as organisations, as structure, and to show that these people you walk past every day on the streets and ignore and pretend they don't exist, are not only just people too, but have got a lot of talent, a lot of unrealised potential. And we want people to understand that the person you're walking past is somebody's daughter, somebody's son, somebody's mother and father, somebody's brother, sister, and that homelessness or the drugs or the alcohol or reasons why you see or walk past them aren't the cause of the situation. They're the solution. They're symptoms of it.
Right.
Yeah. Nobody ever wakes up and says, I want to be homeless. A lot of these people have ended up on the street because they have mental health issues through physical and mental abuse, through abusive relationships, from nervous breakdowns, from learning difficulties, and from people just giving up on them.
So lack of support from friends and family.
Lack of support from society, really.
Yes.
I think homelessness is an issue which needs to be tackled by a society and by a community. And Comedius wants to put that community back in to place and wants to show that these guys on the street and these girls on the street, that authority is not a bad thing, and that society is a good thing to belong to, because we're encouraging them to create, we're encouraging them to learn, we're encouraging them that they can go back to work, there can be something useful in their lives, but also to get the people who are supposed to be the responsible people of society to understand that they need to see these people as that, and not just a statistic, not just a number.
Yes. So it's similar to it reminds me of the parable of teaching someone to fish, not simply giving them fish, so that they can help themselves.
Yeah, and this is it. We believe that there is people out there who are always going to be in crime or anything like that because they've made that decision.
Right, yes.
But there's a lot of people who've ended up there because they've not had any other opportunities.
Right.
And one of the things we want to highlight is solving the homeless problem doesn't mean giving somebody a house.
Okay.
And this is what people don't understand. That, okay,